Hi, I'm Robert Reeves with Liquibase, and I think it's about time to automate your database changes. I've got about 10 minutes here where I'm going to take you through some slides. Hopefully, it'll be entertaining. We'll laugh, we'll cry, we'll learn something together. And then we're going to see a demonstration of Liquibase, JFrog, and Jenkins working together to automate your database schema changes. But let's start off here. Why are we here? Well, we're here because this is not a phone. Remember the old Dadaist painting, this is not a pipe? Well, this is not a phone. This is so much more. And what this has led to is an expectation from our customers that we have to get faster. If you look at your phone, you're going to see that the application updates for companies like Facebook and Instagram and Amazon are coming out every week. Go and look at the updates for your bank. Not as fast. There is an expectation from customers that they are going to see new applications every week, minor bug fixes and enhancements. That's what all the release notes say. And that is driving us to adopt DevOps. But somewhere along the way, we forgot the database. And this is causing some pretty serious problems. As we increase the rate at which we're releasing applications, our database deployments are staying about the same. And what this is causing is a gap, a deployment gap between the rate at which we get out the application and the rate at which we change the database. Now, I got to tell you, about 80% of the time, you're going to have to update that database schema. You're going to have to make changes to your JSON documents in Mongo or Dynamo or wherever. You have got to change that data store to match the application, or else the application is not going to run. You need to put them out together. But we've been manually updating our database while automating the application. And I'm going to show you today how to fix that, how to do them together. If we don't fix it, it's just like having a Tesla on wagon wheels. Yeah, it can go fast, but it's not going to go fast. And before we start talking about the demo, let's talk about how we got into this mess. All right, and it goes all the way back to 1979, which was a great year. All right, we got, well, look, Michael Jackson didn't put out a single bad album, but for my money, I think Off the Wall is the best. It was his first solo album. We also got the Walkman. You might remember this from Guardians of the Galaxy, or maybe you had one. We also had the first release, which was version 2. Of Oracle. See, Larry Ellison doesn't do version 1. It's always version 2. Then, a whole lot of nothing happened. All right. Okay, maybe the whole .com thing. But around 2002, more interesting things happened. All right. So first, wow, Nickelback. That was great. But we also got the manifesto for agile software development. And that's pretty cool. I mean, look, it was revolutionary. And make no mistake, the people that write manifestos are dangerous people and software engineers. Interestingly, they both wear socks with sandals. That's a joke. Not all of them. But around that time, we started having these meetings where we would get together and talk about what we did yesterday, what we're doing today, any blockers, and those sorts of things. And here we have a picture of a DBA being invited to a Agile Scrum meeting. Boy, that looks like fun. Okay, fast forward to 2009, and here we get Black Eyed Peas. Yay. We also got DevOps. Well, that's pretty cool. This idea that, hey, we're going to break down the barriers between development and operations. Sounds like fun. Let's do this. Let's get faster. Let's put out more releases with smaller bits of change. Well, here we have a picture of a developer delivering SQL scripts to our DBA team. They look like they're having fun. Look, as William Gibson said, the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. We are doing DevOps. We are accelerating the rate at which we're delivering applications. It's just not everybody in the company, everybody in our organization is doing it. And we need to help them. A herd is only as fast as its slowest member. And it is time to help our database professionals. Look, if you ask yourself, why haven't we fixed this in the past? Frankly, it comes down to us being beholden to these ideas that we've always done it that way. And so maybe we should take some time and discuss things that we've always done in the past. There's, leeches and bloodletting to get out the bad humors. Of course, asbestos. That was great. Oh, hey, how about smoking? Sure. And then, of course, my favorite, creating a ticket to change the database schema. This is a DevOps ANA pattern. And what we need to do is move to a world where developers are able to make changes to those database schemas, not just dev and test, but also to production. You build it, you run it. But we need to have a balancing act between speed and safety. And I believe that there's 5 ways to clean this mess up. All right. Number 1, developers need to understand that it is not done until it's in production. Just because you checked it in and you marked your Jira ticket as ready for test doesn't mean you're done. I believe that developers should partner with those test and operations folks to help them get that software out the door and onto those production servers and into the hands on that mobile device of the consumer, of the customer. It's time that we start evaluating our entire development and operations, all of those teams, based on how quickly it takes to get from developer check-in all the way out to production. That's called lead time. That's what Dr. Forsgren tells us is a very important KPI, key performance indicator for DevOps. I also believe that we can no longer have tickets for database changes. Just like we don't have tickets to do pushes for the application. That's just part of the release. Why are we having a separate process for our development, or rather for our database changes? It's got to stop. It's got to stop. Third, development must be responsible for enforcing database standards. We cannot be treating our DBAs or database professionals as janitors at an elementary school cleaning up throw up. All right, that's not their job. Their job is to help us build systems to grow, to make them more secure, to make them scalable. Having them just run SQL scripts is just a waste of that talent. And I think right now we really can't afford to waste any talent. Number 4, I would challenge everyone to leave it better than you found it. We need to take the things that we've learned in DevOps with after action reports, or if you still call them postmortems or whatever. We need to have those kind of events that we do over in the development side of the house, DevOps side of the house. We need to bring in our operations folks. And we need to constantly improve. When we learn that there's a better way to make a schema change, well, we should start enforcing that all the way back in development. And finally, let's not forget, teamwork makes the dream work. We're all in this together. In the past, I know there's been a very contentious relationship between our database folks and our developer folks. And we just need to stop that. There is no reason, because we're all on the same team and we need to work together. So before I get into the demo, these are some ways to get in touch with us. You can go to Reddit, Stack Overflow. Don't forget to tag Liquibase. At Liquibase on Twitter, and certainly blow me up on Twitter, at Robert Reeves. I like cat photos. So let's get into the demo. Let's see what's going to go on. Now, the demo that I'm going to show you today, hey, guess what, kids? We are over in GitHub. So if you go to Liquibase presentations, and I just started doing this for SwampUp this year, you'll see that we've got all the stuff you need for this demonstration. Hey, even the PowerPoint I used. And so what we're going to do is walk through this process of taking an existing database schema running on Postgres, but whatever, use your own flavor, your favorite one. And we're going to Liquibaseify it. And what does that mean? So the first thing is I'm going to get a database schema up and running. And so here are my notes because, I don't remember all this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and fire up a Docker container with my database. So we're just going to use Postgres here, and it's up and running. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push out the Sequila schema. Now, this schema is originally from MySQL, and it's been ported to a lot of different databases. And here's the one for Postgres. So we're going to connect, and using dbeaver here, whatever, use whatever you like. And we're going to go ahead and execute this. This is going to create all the things my database needs for the Sequila application. And we'll go over here. Looks like it's done. And we'll go schemas, public, bunch of tables, bunch of views, stuff like that. Okay, that's great. So what I've done is I have a database that exists. It has objects and those sorts of things. But what Liquibase uses is a change log. This is a ledger. Just like this SQL script has all the objects needed for that database schema, Liquibase does the same thing, but we store it in a structured document. You can use JSON, YAML. I'm going to use XML today just to show my age. And so here we go. Now that this is up and running, I have Liquibase installed on this machine, and it's in my path. And which version am I running? Looks like 3.9. Okay, that's cool. And so in here, from the last time I did this little practice run, I have a change log. I'm going to get rid of it. And I have a file called liquibase.properties. And it has 5 values in here, URL, username, password, and it has the class that you need to connect. If you go to liquibase.org, you can see all this stuff. We got all the examples there, docs.liquibase.com as well. And so what I'm going to do is Liquibase generate ChangeLog. And what this does is this plays Go Fish with the database. Do you have any sequences? Yes, I do. Give them to me. Do you have any tables? Yes, here they are. And it's going to create an XML file that has all the goodies that we need in that database. And so we're starting out, no sequences. Starting out with tables here. There we got sequences. Yay. And of course, all of these values, these XML elements, these are, the things that we need to tell Liquibase what to do. We're creating a table. Well, what's the name of the table? Inventory. Here's a column. Here's another column. Hey, let's have, some constraints as well. And so this is the kind of, when I have this file, this is the thing that I can check into source code control. And then the next time I need to make a change to the database, I just add a new change set and I run this again. But I need to assert to the database that I have run this, because the next time I run this, it's going to try and do the first thing. It's going to try to create the table film actor. Well, that already exists and we're going to have problems. So the next command I need to run is ChangeLog sync. Liquibase ChangeLog sync. And this is going to generate checksums for all of those change sets, because we don't want anybody to change them afterwards. That's not how you do it. You add another change set. But it's also going to add those to a table along with some other metadata information to database ChangeLog. And so if we hit refresh on this, we'll see that we have database ChangeLog here. Let's go check out the data. And here we go. So the first one, it looks like, oh, well, there's my ID, who did it, and kind of what it did. And this will correspond with what's in the ChangeLog here. All right, cool. Now, I might want to use this, this ChangeLog to maybe populate empty databases in the future. Maybe I'm using it for test. Maybe I want to, as part of my dev and testing efforts, I want to just push the whole database schema out. That's cool. So we're going to do Docker PS and Docker stop 48, don't need to type out the whole thing. And let's run Postgres again, or start Postgres again. Cool, we're up. And now if I want to push out my Liquibase, all those things that are in the changelog, I'm going to run Liquibase update. And I will run into an error. And here it is. Any second now. Bam. All right. So I ran into some problems in creating the film table. And I can go over here and connect. And we'll go ahead and look at that database changelog file, changelog table rather, sorry. And it tells me that I stopped around, 33 here. Those are epoch seconds. And so it looks like what's going on here in 33. There we go. So I'll tell you, here's the problem, okay? One, year, and then we have another issue. And this is in the, if we go over Git, we're going to see that we call out that we've got problems. Now, here's the reason. There are two object types, domain and type, that are in that table. Now, Liquibase was started in 2006 by Nathan Voxon. And the purpose of it was to have a tool that allowed you to deploy both to Oracle and SQL Server. Since then, we've expanded the number of databases we support. But the purpose of Liquibase open source is to be cross-platform so that you could have a database, or rather a changelog that can go both to Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres, whatever. And of course, if you need to have custom SQL for a specific platform, you would need to create a either a SQL file or SQL tag like I have here. And this allows you to do something where, okay, on Oracle, we're going to do it this way. On SQL Server, we're going to do it on that way. And there's a DB type attribute on change sets that allow you to do that. And so to fix this, I need to run SQL that's going to create the domain and the type. So I'm just going to copy this and go to my changelog and put it right above the one that I was having problems with, because it said, hey, those things that you're telling me to, those data types you're telling me to set on the column, well, we got a problem with those. I'm also going to just set that to year. And guess what? We're going to fix it and move on to the next error. And so it looks like we've got an issue with functions. All right. Now, again, Liquibase open source does not support platform-specific database objects. Liquibase Pro does, and you could certainly write your own Liquibase extensions to support that. But the way to work around this is just like I did for domain and type. So we'll go back to this. I'm going to grab my functions. It looks like it was right above 51. Hey, let's go back to the table and make sure. Database changelog table. And yep, looks like 51 was having some problems. And so right ahead of that, I'm going to put these. And we'll do update one final time. And it'll say successful, yay. And so now if we go back to the table, we refresh, we're going to see all of our goodies. Wonderful. Okay. Now, of course, this is exactly the workflow that you want to do. I highly recommend actually going through what I did, running it against an empty schema before the changelog sync. All right. So that you can assert that all of those things were created. So now that we have it there, that's pretty exciting. Well, let's put this into Jenkins. All right. I mean, this changelog file is an artifact, and we probably should put it somewhere alongside our application artifacts that we're putting into JFrog, JFrog Artifactory. And so right over here, I am using Cloud JFrog. And so previously, I've uploaded this. And you can see the curl command that I ran. I put that in the GitHub notes. And so this is what I'm going to pull down for my Jenkins run. All right, so let's get started on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do Docker PS, and let's do Docker stop on this guy. And I kind of want to get a fresh, Postgres instance. Let's really kind of see how this is going to work. I'm going to imagine a world where Jenkins or whatever CD solution I've got for testing is going to fire up a new database for me. Let's imagine a world. And then, of course, the next thing I need to do is get Jenkins running. And again, I'm going to use Docker and And so this is going to start up for me. It's going to give me a super secret password that I need to copy from the terminal here. And any second now. Bam, there it is. And let's kind of not get that last space. There we go. And then I'll go over here, hit F5. I'm good. I'm good with the password. Thank you. And so go ahead and install the plugins. I mean, look, I don't need them all, but this is faster than deselecting them. But while we're doing this, I want to show you how to install Liquibase. And so pretty straightforward, gang. A lot of different ways of doing it. But I'm going to show you kind of the most basic way. And so what is that Docker container for Jenkins? So we'll do 37. And look, I'm just going to put it in temp, whatever. You can put it anywhere. And we'll go ahead and just curl this from where? From GitHub. You can get from Maven. Don't care. All up to you. And then we're going to make directory Liquibase, cd to Liquibase. Let's extract this thing. xvzf. Nope. Yes. Now look, I'm connecting to Postgres. All right, so I need to get the Postgres JDBC jar or whatever you're connecting to. And here we go. We're going to put this in lib. Just makes life a lot easier if you put it in the Liquibase lib directory. Solves a lot of issues. Or you could put it on your class path. I'll leave that as an exercise to you to figure out. And so now, let's make sure we can run this thing. And ta-da. Great. Exciting times. Let's go see what's going on at Jenkins. Jenkins land. I'm good as admin. I'm pretty good. Thank you for the suggestion. Let's get to work. All right, I'm going to create a new job. And hey, you know what? I'm really a creative guy. And Liquibase Freestyle project. Now, a couple things I'm going to do. One, I'm actually going to check stuff out from GitHub. And then I need to actually run Liquibase. And so if I go over to my notes, it looks like over here at the bottom, and when you get to the bottom, that means the presentation is almost over, kids. Super exciting. And we're going to do git, a repository URL. And let's go ahead and add a build step. Sure, why not? We'll do shell. A couple things I'm going to do just to show you kind of all this stuff working together. Because I have Liquibase actually in GitHub, we'll use that. All right. And same thing that I just installed. All right. No difference. And but then I've got my let's go get that change log that I put in Artifactory, and let's run Liquibase. Now hold up here. All right, what are we doing? This is different than I was doing previously. Instead of having a liquibase.properties file, I'm actually putting this on the command line. All right, I don't have to, but this is where I get to show you how to do it without the properties file. So changelog.xml that's in source code control, or rather, I'm sorry, that I pulled down from JFrog Artifactory, username and password, and then the URL, and then the update. We've seen this before. Are we sure about that IP address? Let's double check. All right, so I can do, now remember, I'm trying to connect from Jenkins running in a Docker container to Postgres running in another Docker container. And previously I was using localhost. That ain't gonna work. So I gotta find out what that Docker IP address is. And the way we do that, Docker inspect, well, wait a minute. Okay, Docker inspect 5C. And it looks like it's .2. Right, see that 172.17.0.2. And it looks like, hey, looks like Robert was running a few more Docker containers when he wrote this. Poor guy. And we're going to go over here. We're going to copy this in. I'm going to apply this. Maybe I should have saved it. Make it go away. Let's go ahead and do a build. There we go. We see it's all its glory, doing its checkout. Then it's going to go to Artifactory, get my changelog.xml. Now it's running Liquibase. Just like before. Oh, look at that. Successful. We can go over to dbeaver and let's go ahead and do a refresh on this. And amazingly, our changelog looks the same as it did previously. It's kind of the point of DevOps, right, gang? Over and over again, same results. Here's the things that I had to put in to make this work with Liquibase open source. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So just to recap, what we did was we used Liquibase against a database with the Sequila schema, made it work, got it into JFrog Artifactory, hooked that up to Jenkins, and then we updated the database with Liquibase. Wow, look at that. So just to remind you, if you want to get in touch with us, hit us up on Reddit, Stack Overflow. Remember to tag with Liquibase, Twitter at Liquibase, and hey, blow me up at Robert Reeves. Hey, thanks a lot for spending some time with me. Hope you stay safe. Hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. And thank you to my friends at JFrog for thinking of us at Liquibase. Thank you.